I was wondering, did you put something together, like a sheet or something?
It's been available for over a month, Jerry.
Oh, okay.
On the website and,
It's whatever, I don't care.
And what's your name?
My name's Jared. You don't even have to put me down for a
Well, I
phone.
have to. Jared, what's your last name?
Ritenour.
Thank you.
Okay. Nope.
I think what we ought, like I was talking to Jim about, looking at these setbacks, like 1,000-foot setbacks, residential, agricultural. I think looking at other areas, like South Savannah and other ones, they've increased theirs to 1,500. I think we ought to go with the standard what they've done. I think that's what we ought to do. Any problems? 1,500. Yeah, that would be 1,500. Some of the things I looked at in a setback, like public road, I believe that was like 1,500. But I would talk to South Savannah, pretty much with Nottingham. I talked to Jim earlier. So I mean, go through that and see what changes, you know, spruce this up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got Nottingham this morning. I looked at it over, and also you have the recommendations from Washington County Planning Commission also. And if board has any other suggestions, they can give it to Julie, and Julie give it to me, and I can redraft your ordinance.
so with that in mind is, we would get the recommendations to you, you would redraft, and then we'll have another hearing for the public to input on the new.
It's my understanding the board is going to continue this hearing to August 26th at 6 o'clock for a public hearing on the data center ordinance. Just in case there's a little comment.
Any other comments? And at this time, we'll recess the, public hearing to, we'll need a motion then to reconvene with the changes on August 26th at 6 o'clock.
I'll make a motion for August 26th, 6 o'clock for the changes.
I second. Roll call.
Myers?
Yes.
Goldtrop?
Yes.
Moore?
Yeah.
If you want anything else, that just give it to Julie.
I'll look at more, you know, you see something.
At this time, we'll take a brief recess, and we'll excuse us the moment.
Go to Scoops. Back to work. I've been there all day.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't realize that. I didn't think about it. You said June, August 23rd?
Second, 26th.
So what I'll do is I'll send you.
26th, August 26th.
Yes.
You're just gonna touch me anyway? Thank you.
Joe, you still have that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over a couple things tomorrow with you.
Next would be reports, municipal consulting, animal control was on file. Do we have anything for the road department?
Road department's been replacing pipes, on St. Cloud and Buckingham roads, along with, they've had a lot of tree damage and water damage with the storms that we've had last couple of weeks, so that's what they've been working on. And, we finished, the junction park, the playground's complete up there, the swings are up. The pavilion was pressure washed and painted with, water treatment, the bleachers, and, were also done that way. And, the only thing left up there really to do is work, a little bit of work on the ball field. And, the park at Somerset, we took all the old, road blocks out of there and put up new cable and stuff and brought those blocks back to the salt shed where we can utilize them to separate our stone. Trimmed the hedges up there, did some tree trimming, painted, all the guide rails, and, got it looking pretty good up there.
Thank you, Mark. Yep. Jim, do you have anything for us next?
No, I did not.
Public comment on non-agenda items. Any comments? Yes, Jack.
So we don't have a stenographer for public comment? How will we know who made a public? Who said that? Did you say something?
What?
Who said Jesus?
Nobody says
Okay. If we don't have a stenographer for public comment,
The stenographer was for the public hearing for the data and AI center. That's what she was here for.
well, I want to make public comment, and I hope it's recorded somehow.
That's what the minutes are for.
The minutes? Okay. On June 14th, I know I said I wasn't gonna talk about this anymore, but on June 14th, I was doing some volunteer work at Coker Fire Hall, and I stepped outside to take a break, and I heard shooting, sustained gunfire again. I made a phone call to my wife, and I said, "See you up there shooting?" And she says, "Yeah." Now, why it was a big deal is because there was a graduation party going on that Sunday. A little boy that lived across the road, he grew up there. Nathaniel Campbell, he was born and raised in Junction, graduated high school, thought it was going to be a good idea to have his graduation party at the park that he grew up playing. And it was cut short because they decided to go up there and shoot guns at it. And you cannot explain this to people from out of town that this is normal, because this is not normal anywhere else but Somerset Township. You understand? So, his graduation party is cut short. The shooting, I remember Mr. Wilshire, you said, "Why couldn't I be a gentleman with Ronnie and work it out to where he can shoot at certain times?" That cannot work, because he would have to be, everybody would have to be ladies and gentlemen, and we'd have to announce when we're going to use the park. Do you understand? You guys going to work on some kind of sign saying when we can use that park without having to deal with shooting? They had to cut that graduation party short because of that. They are scared to death. They won't come talk. But I will talk, because I ain't scared of them. But they are scared to death. I would like, out of you five, it's always somebody not here, to start an investigation and talk to these people, because they are scared to death. The first meeting I had, everybody was up here yelling, They didn't want to talk. And he went into them and threatened them the next day. So they won't come up here and make public comment, but I will. You're saying be a gentleman and don't shoot when kids are there. I don't shoot when kids are there. That park was full of kids, and they drove past them. There was easy up, there was coolers, there was balloons, there was flags, there was everything. They drove right past them and thought it was a good idea to shoot. Now, would anybody like that at their graduation party for their kids? Richardson Park over the last weekend had a thing where we had kids all over the place. You think it would have been good if they were shooting 60 feet from it? Would anybody else put up with that besides us? You don't like me, you like Ronnie. Put all that aside and just think about what he is doing. Just think about what's going on. If this was a school, would we put up with shooting right next to it? Just sit there and say nothing like you always do. But you should have some type of report.
Mike Warnock, 65 Almond Road. Paul, what's wrong with the PA system? Today we can hear it because there's very few people. When we have our regular meeting, it's very hard to hear. The Disability Act, I'm hard of hearing. Where are we at on this?
I've left it up to the other board members because I've got my hands full dealing with other things, so.
I mean,
I
there's no
can't
reason.
personally answer you.
I'm sorry. There's no reason it should take this long, months, years, to get a plain PA system. My wife found one on the internet on Amazon, $300. Just like a DJ system. You can't do that. Somebody, I think I read in the minutes or a video, whatever, somebody wanted to donate one, either for that use of that day or to the township to keep, and we can't get one. I hope this moves on. Because the next call is going to be the Disability Act. All right, I'm going to touch on the water line. We all want water for everybody. And I know you've been busy at work trying to get it. Okay? A couple things I want to follow up on. One, the old grant application was stated one way, right? You had to fill it out, had to go so many roads, so many distance, you had a plan. This new application that you filled out trying to get money, is it the same as the original one? Or was the changes made in it?
They were both filed at the same time. There was a follow-up on the resolution only. The rest of the application is the same.
Okay, because I'm not clear on, you showed me the map. It goes past Thomas Road, they're gonna put a T there in case you wanna get water down the road. It's gonna go all miles past the one she's at, correct?
All intersections will have Ts.
But it's gonna go straight, it's not gonna go up Thomas Road.
It's not my plan to do it, no.
The application does not say go up Thomas Road.
The application definitely does, but it can be modified, will be modified if approved.
Oh, it can be, okay, I didn't know that. The grant, is it a matching grant?
Yes.
Okay, who's gonna be responsible for paying for that?
The matching grant is through the Penvest loan, and the full workout on how it's gonna be paid back has not been done because we don't know for sure how the water company is gonna work with us.
So,
That's still negotiation.
it could be possibly the taxes from the township residents pay that.
No.
100% not gonna do it.
I will not propose it using tax money.
Thank you. All right. Back when,
There is Act 13 money out there, which is specifically for infrastructure. That money could be used.
yes. Okay. Back when they Blackburn and them started a fund, they had this money put away. So let's use, for example, off the top of my head, we have 120 residents. And each one had $1,000, $120,000. Okay? Now, 10 people along this new water line route only want water. Are we gonna use all that money, or just 10,000 that was appropriated for all the township residents? Try to follow what I'm saying?
No, I do not.
Okay, let's pretend there's gonna be 10 residents gonna want water. I don't know if they are or not. And the other question to that would have been, how much is it gonna cost them? If the water comes past my house and says, okay, city water's here, do you want it? Well, how much is it gonna cost? Is it gonna cost me 10 grand? No, I don't want city water. So there again, the line's gonna go in, so the young people that are gonna get it, I have 18 or the business and that is gonna have to pay more, I think, if I'm following you correctly. There's no price out there to
Typically
say,
a tap-in fee.
pardon?
There's typically a tap-in fee.
Yes, sir.
And then you're basically, you know, whatever amount of water you use, typically maybe, I don't know, what, a $50 bill or something like that
Okay.
a month, I don't know. Depending on how much water you use, but.
Well, like Paul said, as far as the PennDOT money and stuff, that money assured me the last meeting, open meeting, that the people along there that want water will be paying for that, not the township tax, what you just said.
Not out of tax money, no. And that's where it comes into negotiation with whichever water company we can negotiate.
Right, because we don't
So
want,
I can't sit here and say definitively what it's gonna cost. First of all, we don't have any
Okay.
drawings to define it.
okay, just so the other residents aren't paying for a water line for a specific place. Like I told you before, off record, I put my own water line in, I paid for it 100%. So that's why I'm adamantly fulfilled the support, they should be paid to pay for it, not the rest of the township people.
And that's the way I stated it in the informational meeting, is it won't be affected by the rest of the residents of the township.
Okay, then I guess you don't have a price on how much per gallon it's gonna cost for the fill stations.
No.
Okay. Also, when I put my water line in, I had a royalty come to me for, I think it was 8 years. I have to get the paperwork out of my file. I do have it. And after anybody else tapped in on that, I got a royalty. One family bought it. It's all up on the hill. I got one check. Now that was supposed to go for, say, 10 years. Maybe Jim knows more about it. 10 years. Up to the cost of what it cost to install. Well, let's face it, this is over $1 million, $4 million, or whatever it is. Okay? We're never gonna get that amount of money back. Who's gonna get them royalties? Would it go to the township? Because they're putting it in, they're doing the grant, they're all this, or the water company gonna get their royalties.
The township doesn't get that, that's if you put it in your private money,
Okay,
that's for you, not for the township.
okay, but being they're putting it in, they're not gonna get any royalties.
It's not royalty, they're making an assessment, making a tap fee, they don't know yet, because they don't know how much grant they're getting, they don't know.
Okay, I apologize, I should have said, if down the road, say 10 people get it now, and there's 20 people on the road, then they come 2 years from now and say, I wanna get city water. Then, does that part of that money go to the township? Like I'm saying it incorrectly?
I can't answer that, if it's a loan, it goes to the loan payment.
Okay.
You know, so it's,
Well, that would be great to do it towards the loan to help pay it off. Yeah. Okay, and you don't have a count on how many people would wanna have water?
That's why the questionnaire will back out, so that we can try and determine where we're at.
Okay,
Because my intention is to take all those and sort them out by road and see the need by road to know where we should be going with water.
again, I'm not against this, you know, everybody should have the opportunity to get it. Don't know how many? Let's see.
The problem is that everybody, not everybody in the township, but most everybody wants water.
It's their choice,
But you
right?
can't do it all at one time, you have to start somewhere,
Right.
you know, and, you know.
So when it comes their turn, then they should be made to pay for their water line, like these people are, whoever's affected, that want it. Because the people that don't want it should have to pay for it along that route.
Ideally, the water fill station pays for itself in time, and then the money you keep making still goes into account to run the next line, and the next line, you know,
I understand.
like,
And I think you need more public meetings, because you saw what the response was that night. Turned out very well, and I think you need more, that's my opinion. But I'm gonna keep coming back to that PA system. I mean, $300, I can get one in an hour. Not delivered, but have one. So why are we dragging our feet? It's not fair. Residents asked me in my face when I was running for election, would you please bring that up and ask it? We can spend money on everything else, but we can't get a simple PA system here?
Eric, there's something else.
Real quick, I want to apologize about that Jesus thing, because I think I figured it out. They want a PA system so they can hear it when they broadcast it on Facebook. Everybody in this room can hear everything we say. Now, I heard somebody say Jesus, and I'll hear it when I watch that back tonight, because I think it came from behind. And it'll be clear as day, because he's working off his iPhone microphone. But as for the microphone thing, there ain't no problem anybody hearing anything here.
Yes, I have. I'm sitting right here, I have one.
Okay.
Any other comments? Bill?
So Pollock Road, I have a follow-up question on the water, and certainly applaud having the meeting, getting this information out. We need to follow through on that. And a clarification, you mentioned the Act 13 money, which I believe is about $3.3 million, which was built up over the payments from the gas wells, about 117 gas wells on a dozen or so pads, which that is township money. That's about there's about 1,200 households in the township. That's about $3,000 per household. And basically you're saying that can be just used in this project, where I think the fair way to do this, and this has been our point all along, is everyone should be treated equally. That we shouldn't spend all of the Act 13 or other money on just 18 or a few households. We should look at the total number of people that want water. We shouldn't force everybody. There are a lot of people on the roads that don't want water. I've talked to people that have spent $10,000 or more on their current water system, and they absolutely don't want to spend another $5,000 or $10,000 to put city water in. So recognizing the investment that people have made, not forcing everybody along the road to get water, but then also looking at the funds that we have. The Act 13 money is everyone's money. That's about, right now, about $3,000 per family. That money, once you look at each road and figure out where you can put the water, how much it's going to cost, how many people want it, then you can put a plan together. And is there, of the 1,200 houses or households in the township, are there 300 that want water? Then you can look at the money we have available and you can allocate that on a uniform basis, because the problem with the Act 13 money is after 10 or 11 years, it totally goes away. And they're drilling a couple wells now, but they're not drilling 117 wells. And a lot of these wells are already turning 11 years old. The payments on that goes down every year because of the aging of the wells. So saying that we're going to spend half or a large percentage of that Act 13 money on 12 or 18 houses, of which we don't even know if they all want water, is not fair to the rest of the residents that do want water. We need to understand all this before we start spending money. And it's a good first step. We just need to continue looking at this. We need to look at the potential contamination, and that's down in your area from the mine waste. We have the Center for Coalfield Justice. They're doing free testing. They're going to do some more testing. That testing should be done certainly in the area where you've done the grants, but make other people aware and do that testing, because any contaminated water is going to be paid for by the mine, and the residents or the township don't have to pay for it, and that leaves a bigger pot to just spread around. So those are our comments. That we applaud the efforts. We want to continue looking at all these items and look at everyone equally. Thank you.